The skincare industry has a problem. If you figure out what actually works, you stop buying things you don't need. So they keep you confused. New ingredients, new trends, new problems you didn't even know you had. And just when you think you've got it all figured out, there's something else that you're apparently missing. If you're a man in your 30s who looks tired or prematurely aged, I'm going to tell you what they'd rather you didn't know. I spent months developing this point of view, watching reviews, reading studies, testing products, figuring out what actually moves the needle versus what just feels like progress. And here's what I found. Most skincare is a distraction. Not all of it, but most of it. There's a small handful of things that genuinely compound over time. And then there's everything else, which might feel nice, but isn't doing the heavy lifting. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what those things are. And more importantly, you'll know what you can safely ignore and stop second guessing. If we haven't met, I'm Kirk. I help men in their 30s who look tired or prematurely aged get their skin looking healthier and more rested without the hype. I created a free skin reset guide that's linked down below, not as more information, but as a way to stop you having to think about skincare altogether. Because most men understand this intellectually, but then still get it wrong in practice. And that's why I wrote the guide. I'm not a dermatologist, I'm just someone that's done the work and then translated it into something normal men will actually do. Men with jobs, stress, gym routines, travel, just generally busy lives that don't revolve around skincare. That's the gap I'm filling. Not more information, less thinking. So let me show you why most of what you see is a distraction and what actually matters. Here's what made it click for me. The skincare industry doesn't make money when you have a simple routine that works. They make money when you're confused, when you think you need more, when you're always looking for the next thing. Consuming. Every year there's a new hero ingredient. Hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, peptides, snail mucin, PDRN or salmon DNA. And every time something new drops, the marketing machine kicks in and makes you feel like your routine is incomplete. Now, I don't think this is evil. Innovation is good. Variety keeps things interesting. It's a bit like training at the gym. Switching up your workout can keep the gym enjoyable, but you still need a base program if you want results. Skincare is the same. You need the foundation in place first. Adding the fun products is fine if they come after the foundation, not instead of it. So let's start with the foundation, because it's simpler than what you'd think. If you're a man in your 30s who looks more tired than you feel, build your routine around tretinoin. If you can't access it, or have slightly more sensitive skin and want something slightly softer, start with a retinoid and then work your way up. That's the foundation. And a quick bit of context, because there's a lot of confusion here. Tretinoin, retinol, and retinaldehyde or retinal, they're all different forms of vitamin A. Same family, just different strengths. Think of it a bit like sugar. Maple syrup, brown sugar, caster sugar, they're all sugars, just different potencies. And vitamin A or retinoids are the same. Tretinoin is the gold standard. It's prescription only in most countries, and the retinol and retinal are weaker and have to be converted by your skin first, and you lose potency in that process. Some people do fine with retinol or retinal long term, but if you're serious about results, especially in a shorter time frame, tretinoin works faster and more reliably. And here's why. Most skincare works at the surface level. Tretinoin works deeper and changes how your skin behaves structurally. It does two things. First, it speeds up cell turnover, and second, it stimulates collagen production. Faster renewal plus more collagen. That's why dermatologists have recommended it for over 50 years. It's not trendy, it just works. SPF prevents the damage, and then tretinoin repairs it. Everything else supports those two functions, or is optional. So that's the core. Tretinoin, SPF, cleanser, moisturizer, and vitamin C in the morning. Now, tretinoin takes a bit of time to work. It definitely doesn't work overnight. But if you don't understand why, you'll probably quit before you see results. So let me explain what's going on. Your skin renews itself on a cycle. New cells form at the bottom and then work their way up and eventually shed off. That process takes roughly 28 days when you're younger, but as you move through your 30s and beyond, it slows, stretching to 35, 40, and even over 50 days, depending on your skin and lifestyle. The exact number varies person to person, but the direction is always the same. Slower. So why does that matter? Tretinoin works by influencing that renewal process. It changes what's happening in the lower layers. But you don't see those changes until the new cells reach the surface, which takes weeks. When you start tretinoin and nothing dramatic happens in the first 2 weeks, that's not failure. That's biology. You just haven't completed a full skin cycle yet. And as I say, in the first couple of weeks, you don't see much visible change. Maybe some dryness or flakiness, and some people purge, which is where clogged pores under your skin, what some people call texture or bumps, move up to the surface faster. You might also develop more breakouts before things start to clear. Personally, I didn't experience any of these things, so I'm probably not best placed to advise you, but if you do experience any of these things, it's normal. Introducing retinoids gradually, as I explain in this skin reset guide, help prevent massive flare-ups. But definitely don't let the danger of this happening put you off from using them. Weeks 4 to 8 are when the real changes start. Your texture starts to improve, your skin looks less dull, and that tired, flat look starts to lift. Months 3 to 6 deliver more noticeable results. Fine lines start to soften, tone evens out, and your skin will have a different quality. Firmer, healthier, and more resilient. 6 months to a year is when you experience the peak results. Increased collagen production and improved turnover have had time to take effect. That's when you'll look different. And then after a year, you're mainly maintaining the results that you've achieved. But you only get those results if you stick with it through the early weeks when nothing seems to be happening, and you build your skincare routine around it. It's all about using it long enough to let it work. If you're in the UK, you access prescription tretinoin, which delivers the fastest and most meaningful results, from Dermatica or Skin and Me. Personally, I've used Dermatica, and I found the sign-up process pretty quick and the service to be good. They send you a little tub of it like this through the post, and it's just nice and easy. But you have to look into what the best way is to access tretinoin depending on where you are in the world. And obviously listen to the advice of the medical professional prescribing it to you over me. If you can't access tretinoin, or you want to build your tolerance by working your way through a tub or a tube of an over-the-counter retinoid first, you'll want to start with either Retinol or the slightly stronger Retinol, otherwise known as retinaldehyde. The two products I mentioned in the guide, and I don't get any kickback or financial incentive for recommending them, are Remedy for Healthy Aging and CeraVe's Resurfacing Retinol Serum. Remedy for Healthy Aging has a really strong set of supporting ingredients. 2% argireline, which helps with wrinkles, glycolic acid, 2% niacinamide, matrixyl, ferulic acid, and ceramides. But it doesn't ship everywhere. And at the time of recording, it can be pretty expensive to ship to the UK. But keep an eye on it, because I expect that will change over time as they become more established and their infrastructure improves. CeraVe's Resurfacing Retinol is another great one to start out with, and is probably slightly easier to get and slightly more affordable. Its supporting cast isn't as strong as Remedy's, but it will still make an impact, and longer term you want to see both of these as a stepping stone to tretinoin. The other one I want to call out is Medik8 Crystal Retinal range. I haven't used it myself, but the consensus online seems to be that it's one of the best over-the-counter options if you want more control over your strength. It uses retinaldehyde, or retinol, which is stronger than retinol, and you can purchase it in different strengths. It goes from level 1, which is for sensitive skin, to level 24, which they label as expert. However, it costs from £45 to £109, depending on the strength that you go for as a time of recording this. So it's much more expensive than tretinoin, but it can give you that extra level of control if you want to go for a specific strength. And I also think some of the levels have got some fragrance in them as well, which isn't necessarily ideal. So you might want to look into that as well. All of the products I've mentioned will work, but tretinoin is still the go if you want maximum results. And my experience in the UK is that Dermatica have been pretty accommodating in helping me find the right strength that works for me. So how do you start tretinoin without wrecking your face? Well, week 1, use it 1 night a week. Week 2, 2 nights, not back to back. And week 3 onwards, build gradually to 2 or 3 nights per week. Gradually and effectively. If you get irritation, redness, flaking, sensitivity, take a few days off. Just cleanse and moisturize. Let your skin calm and then restart at a lower frequency. If your skin gets angry, listen to it. That's not failure, that's calibration. Now, the ordinary Soothing Barrier Serum and La Roche-Posay's Cicaplast Balm B5, along with this Medik8 cream that come from Korea, have been the best products that I've used when I've upset my skin barrier. Now, you always want to use tretinoin in the evening because it breaks down in sunlight and makes your skin more sun sensitive. Now, some retinoid products available over the counter claim you can use them morning or night, but there's only a select few, and my view is using them in the evening is simpler. You won't get any conflict with your vitamin C serum and no complications to your morning routine. With tretinoin, morning SPF isn't optional, it's mandatory. If you want all of this written down, the timeline, how to start, what to do if you get irritation, it's in the Skin Reset Guide that's linked down below. But one more thing, tretinoin and SPF are your foundation, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy anything else. You just need to understand the supporting role that they play. The way I think about it now is pretty simple. There are 2 types of products, essential products and enjoyment products. Essential products have a job. They contribute to your skin actually improving over time. The essentials are a cleanser, your retinoid, vitamin C, moisturizer, and SPF. That's it. Now here's where it gets interesting, and maybe a little controversial depending on who you're speaking with. If you're a man in your 30s who looks more tired than you feel or prematurely aged, anything you add on top of that are optional extras. Products that are in your routine for the love and enjoyment of skincare. Sometimes the optional extras can deliver short-term boosts to how you look and feel, but really their main function is to make you want to do your routine consistently. Nice textures, pleasant experiences, that Korean essence that feels amazing, the fancy moisturizer you've been eyeing up, all of those will make you look forward to want to do your routine. Sure, they might hydrate, they might feel great and make your skin look better in the moment, but they're not doing the deep structural work that your retinoid and vitamin C are doing. And that's okay. Consistency is the most important variable in skincare, more important than anything else. A routine you enjoy doing is a routine you'll stick with, and a routine you stick with beats a perfect routine you quit after a few weeks. If a nicer moisturizer makes you actually do your routine every night, that's valuable. If a hydrating serum makes the experience feel less like a chore, that's worth something. You don't need to feel guilty about enjoying skincare. If enjoyment keeps you consistent, it's doing a job. If it doesn't, drop it and stick with what I put together in the guide. Now, when it comes to your essentials, you want to stick with them. Using the same products consistently compounds. Don't hop between products every month because you saw something new on social media. But the products you add on top, the enjoyment products, that's where you can experiment. Try different serums, that new essence, swap things around, and that variety and experimentation can keep you engaged. Just keep the 2 categories separate and introduce your new enjoyment products gradually. So if you do experience any irritation, you should be able to identify the culprit. Fewer actives usually perform better, and the routine works when you stop thinking about it. If you want to see the full routine with every product and exactly when to use them, watch the video up here or download the Skin Reset Guide below. Links in the description. See you in the next one.